Hello, everyone. We are going to understand a very important point formula for solving worry situations. Okay, let us try to understand the formula. I now tried to figure out ways and means by which I might reduce the loss of $20,000 that we faced. I made several tests and finally figured out that if we spent another 5,000 for additional equipment, a problem would be solved. We did this. And instead of the firm losing 20,000, we made, instead of the firm losing 20,000, we made 15,000. I probably would never have been able to do this if I had kept on worrying. Because one of the worst features about worrying is that it destroys our ability to concentrate when we worry. Our minds jump here and there, everywhere, and we lose all power of decision. However, when we force ourselves to face the worst and accept it mentally, we then eliminate all these vague imaginings and put ourselves in a position in which we are able to concentrate on our problems. Okay? Yes, this incident that I have related occurred many years ago. If it worked, it worked so superbly that I have been using. It works so superbly that I have been using it every ever since. And as a result, my life has been almost completely free from worry. My life has been free from worry. Now, why is Willis H. Currier's magic formula so valuable and so practical, psychologically speaking? Because it yanks us down out of the great gray clouds in which we fumble around when we are blinded by worry. When we are blinded by worry, it plants our feet good and solid on the earth. We know where we stand, and if we haven't solid ground under us, how in creation can we ever hope to think anything through, isn't it? Professor William James, the father of applied psychology, has been dead for many years. But if we are alive today and could hear this formula for facing the worst, he would heartily approve it. How do I know that? Because he told his own students, be willing to have it so. Be willing to have it so. He said, because acceptance of what has happened is the first step. First step is what? Acceptance in what has happened, in overcoming the consequence of any misfortune, in overcoming the consequence of any misfortune. Important words. Accept what has happened. Whatever has happened has happened. Go ahead and be victorious. Okay? The same idea was expressed by Lin Yutang in his widely read book, The Importance of Living. The book's name was The Importance of Living. True peace of mind, said this Chinese philosopher, comes from accepting the worst. Okay, whatever worst has happened. Psychologically, I think it means a release of energy. That that's it exactly. That's it exactly. Psychologically, it means of new release of energy. When we have accepted the worst, we have nothing more to lose. When we have lost everything, everything is over. So, what do we worry about? Isn't it? Let us work out in this way. And then automatically means, and that automatically means we have everything to gain. Everything is lost. Now, everything is there to be gained. Okay? After facing the worst, Willis H. Currier reported, immediately relaxed and felt a sense of peace that I hadn't experienced in days. From that time on, I was able to think. Make sense, doesn't it? It makes sense, doesn't it? Yet millions of people have wrecked their lives in angry turmoil because they refuse to accept the worst, refuse to try to improve upon it, and refuse to salvage what they could from the wreck. Instead of trying to reconstruct their fortunes, they engage in a bit and in a bitter, yes, they engage themselves in a bitter and violent contest with experience and ended up victims of that brooding fixation known as melancholia. Yes, would you like to see how someone else adopted Willis H. Currier's magic formula and applied it to this own problem? Well, here is one example from a New York oil dealer who was a student in my classes. I was being blackmailed, the student began. I didn't believe it was possible. I didn't believe it could happen outside of the movies. But I was actually being blackmailed. I was actually being blackmailed. Yes, what happened was this: the oil company of which I was a head had a number of delivery trucks and a number of drivers. At the time, OPA regulations were strictly enforced, and we were rationed on the amount of oil we would deliver to any one of our customers. I didn't know it, but it seemed that certain of our drivers had been delivering oil short of our regular customers and then reselling the surplus to the customers of their own. The first inkling, inkling I had of these illegitimate transactions was when a man who claimed to be a government inspector came to see me one day and demanded hush money. He had got documentary proof of what our drivers had been doing. Okay? And he threatened to turn this proof over to the district attorney office if I didn't cough up. If I didn't cough up. Okay? I knew, of course, that I had nothing to worry about, personally at least. But I knew that the law says a firm is responsible for the actions of its employees. What more I knew what was that if the case came to the court and it was aired in the newspapers, the bad publicity would ruin my business. And I was proud of my business. It had been founded by my father 24 years before. I was so worried. I was sick. I didn't eat or sleep for 3 days and nights. I didn't sleep for 3 days and nights. I kept going around in crazy circles. Should I pay the money and $5,000, or should I pay the money, or should I tell this man to go ahead to do his dam- damnedest? Yes, either way, I tried to make up my mind. It ended in a nightmare. Then one Sunday, I happened to pick up the booklet on how to stop worrying, which I had been given in my Carnegie classes in public speaking. I started to read it and came across a story of Willis H. courier. Face the worst, face the worst, it said. So I asked myself, what is the worst that can happen if I refuse to pay up and their blackmailers turn their records over to the district attorney? Yes, we're going to read ahead and continue ahead. God bless you. Bye bye.